Good evening to you all. In today's summary, two of Seychelles' three telecommunication providers, Airtel Seychelles and Cable and Wireless Seychelles, have responded to the introduction of the Starlink in the country, saying they welcome the increased competition. Airtel Seychelles brand and marketing communications manager Jude Valmore described Starlink's entry into the market as an opportunity for the company to further strengthen its service delivery. He said Airtel is already investing heavily in improving its network and customer experience and will continue to do so. Meanwhile, Cable and Wireless Seychelles Chief Legal Risk and Compliance Officer Caroline de Kumamo said the company welcomes a fair and equitable competition. She noted that healthy competition encourages innovation, stimulates investment, and ultimately delivers better outcome for customers.
As new players enter the market, we believe it's important that a fair and balanced regulatory environment is maintained. A fair and equitable playing field is encouraged, which brings about healthy competition, continued investment, and ensures that customers benefit from better services, greater choices, and competitive pricing.
The Supreme Court has postponed until next week the hearing of the case between the Human Rights Commission and the Office of the Ombudsman and the Commission of Inquiry into the riots that occurred at Montaigne prison. The adjournment was granted at the request of the Commission of Inquiry, which said it needed additional time to await the return to the country of one of its commissioners, Vic Tirant. According to the Commission's representative, Mr. Tirant's signature is required on certain documents that must be submitted to the court as part of the proceedings. To recall, the Human Rights Commission and the Office of the Ombudsman are challenging the live broadcast of the Commission of Inquiry's hearings. They argue that these live transmissions could infringe upon certain fundamental rights and are asking the courts to intervene. The Supreme Court is expected to resume hearing next week. The Seychelles Pension Fund has described 2025 as a year of solid growth and resilience. The Chief Executive Officer of the Seychelles Pension Fund, Ms. Nizreen Abdul Najid, said that she is very satisfied with the fund's performance for 2025, especially its profit, which is over 100 million rupees. Ms. Abdul Majid was speaking during a presentation of the Seychelles Pension Fund Annual Report for 2025 during a press conference at Liberty House yesterday afternoon, and this was in the presence of the Minister for Finance, Economic Planning and Trade and Investment, Pierre Laporte, and the chairperson of the Pension Fund Board, Mr. Norman Weber.
In terms of
debate on the bill yesterday.
In terms of collections, the contribution collected is 904 million. In terms of pension payments, this is 728 million. And in terms of the surplus between the contribution and the pension is 176 million. And in terms of members' fund growth, and this represents about 14.3% in amount, it's 2.4 billion. And in terms of the profit itself, the surplus from the investment, this is 104 million. That's before any adjustments in the fair value and exchange difference. And in terms of investment income itself, there's an increase from 237 million in 2024 to 253 million in 2025. So basically, pension fund has done really well, and we continue to also maintain our expenditure. And as you can see, it's stable. It was 143 million in 2024, and in 2025, it's 149 million. So we're trying to create a good financial discipline in terms of expenditure and making sure as well that we collect as much revenue, investment, and contribution from our members.
The Speaker of the National Assembly has confirmed this morning that the debate on the Interpretation and the General Provisions Amendment Bill 2026 has been deferred to a future sitting. The Act provides certain standard definitions, rules of construction, and general legal principles for interpreting all other written laws.
Debate on the bill yesterday afternoon ended prematurely when the opposition members staged a walkout, leaving the assembly with no quorum to continue with the session. Earlier, when presenting the bill, Vice President Sebastien Pile says the amendments are updating an act which came into force just after independence in 1976. However, the opposition LDS argued that the legislation should not proceed because it repeated amendments already contained in the statute book, and introducing the bill in its current form was inconsistent with the National Assembly's own rules. It urged the government to defer consideration of the bill so that the text could be corrected. In his reply to the debate, Vice President Pile echoed the intention of members of the governing United States to proceed with the bill. That's when the opposition staged the walkout.
Nouveau Bank celebrates its 35 years of existence this year, and the bank was founded on the 19th of July 1991 when the Standard Chartered Bank ended its operations in Seychelles but retained 22% shares in the newly formed Nouveau Bank. During a ceremony that took place at the Eden Bleu Hotel this weekend to celebrate this milestone, the founder and former Chief Executive Officer of the bank, Saeed Ahmad, received a special token. Long service employees also received awards for their hard work at the bank over the years. In a speech to mark the occasion, the Chief Executive Officer of the bank, Christophe Edmond, spoke about what he described as an exciting chapter the bank has embarked on.
One of the most significant steps in our transformation journey is our core banking system program. This represents a major investment in the future of Nouveau Bank. It will strengthen our capabilities, enhance our digital services, improve efficiency, and enable us to provide a more seamless, secure, and convenient banking experience for our customers.
A ceremony was held on Praslin to honor everyone who took part in the agriculture and horticultural show held in the Inner Islands during the last weekend of June. The event featured song and dance performances organized as a gesture of appreciation for the participants' contribution to the show, which took place on Eve Island. A highlight of the ceremony was the presentation of certificates to all participants, including those who competed in the flower and livestock categories. Sponsors and individuals who exhibited their products at the event. Winners of the various horticulture and livestock competition categories also received their prizes. The ceremony concluded with a cocktail reception.
The event itself is to recognize all participants who has participated in the activity, horticultural and agricultural fair, and it's an opportunity to bring everybody together and to say thank you for their participation, for their support during this year's event. And also we wanted to make an appeal to them so that they can prepare themselves. We give them enough time so that they can participate in the event next year.
And with this, we end the summary. I'll be back at 8 with the Creole Bulletin. Good evening.